know if you can set the tone on kickoff, like how many Patriots teams that have won Super Bowls do we know at some point in the playoffs, you know that third phase of the game makes a huge difference. And yeah, it's backups or whatever. I don't want to keep throwing that caveat out there. Everybody already knows that was impressive because you could see the violence, even from the rookies, like Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, taking guys to the ground. TreVeyon Henderson, like he does not take contact. This man dishes it out. Watching someone that size and that violent run a 4.3, clearly running a 4.3 is terrifying, and it's kind of exciting to have those kind of guys on the football team.
Well, what was the most? I mean, look, what of all the film we watched and you watched in the offseason after the Patriots drafted the players they drafted, what's the thing that geeked everybody up the most? The thing that we kept watching over and over again. It was TreVeyon Henderson hitting people, basically pass blocking, and the violence with which he does it. He's not just picking up the assignment. He's smashing into dudes much bigger than he is and looks like he's enjoying it. And you saw that on a couple of runs, one on a swing from Dre and from Drake May. And then again, he's finishing his runs. But let's start at the beginning because I think that's the thing that's the most eye-popping of all is backups or no backups. TreVeyon Henderson just ran through everybody on that first play. And I mean, I'm going to date myself, and yes, I am. It didn't end with a championship, but 1986 Red Sox, first batter, first pitch of the year, Dwight Evans leads off with a home run. They went to the World Series this year. That was a nice – that was it was –
Don't finish it off with what happened with Bill Buckner. We don't need to hear the rest of it.
You don't need to know what happened. They got to the World Series.
Right.
You think Patriots fans wouldn't take a gut-wrenching Super Bowl loss this year? Absolutely, they would.
You're right. That's a good point.
He was flying as soon as he got through that first zone, untouched, maybe a fingernail on him, and that was it. And then again, it wasn't just what he did on the offensive side, which was one carry for 18 yards, and they tried to work him into the passing game a couple of times, not really successful. But you got a snapshot, Taylor, of what they envision. And that to me is, and fantasy football owners take note, this is going to be a split backfield. He's not going to completely supplant Ramondre. He's not going to be a 3-down workhorse, but he's going to play plenty of snaps and get the ball in his hand plenty of times a game.
And let's not forget Antonio Gibson also. Obviously, like TreVeyon Henderson, we talked about it. Like the biggest thing for me was anytime someone tried to tackle him, they were either sliding off or they were the ones going backwards. And that was consistent. Like every time there's contact, you hear it in the press box. I also want to give Antonio Gibson his credit. Obviously, he had a big return touchdown as well through a stiff arm. That same kind of violence where the first guy is rarely going to be the one to actually bring you down. And if you do bring that running back down, you're going to pay a price. And also the explosiveness in the open field. Lan Larison, even when he got his totes, he was showing it. Terrell Jennings caught a pass thrown behind him or almost did at least and got like lit up. Still showed the toughness to take the hit. I just feel like every time they put somebody in the game in that backfield, it didn't feel like a significant drop-off. You still had that physicality, that explosiveness, the burst. Like Lan Larison, unfortunately, was in the locker room with the walking boots, so we'll see what his status is. But we got to see on some outside zone run, his speed to get to the edge, which we see all the time from TreVeyon Henderson on those toss plays, but also the physicality for a Lan Larison when he is going between the tackles to put his pads down and try to inflict some violence. So I was just really blown away by that, and I don't want to say blown away. Maybe that's a little bit much. Let me look at the tape and be absolutely sure. But I was consistently impressed by this wide receiver room, led by Ramondre Stevenson, and then the biggest, running back room.
Making sure.
It's been a long day. But obviously, TreVeyon Henderson making the big plays, but all of those guys really did show out, I thought, in their opportunities.
They're all going to have important roles on the team, and I think that's sort of this Josh McDaniels staple that we've talked about a few times here. Not the fact that sorry, I was making sure I was reading the screen. Not the fact that he could be a red shirt, because he's not going to be. He was out here. He can play with the big boys. He can play NFL football right away. And we talk about the speed and then him getting around the edge and just burying guys. Like he can stand in this league. And so they're going to rotate through their backs. They're going to use them all. We saw it tonight. And that's a staple. And that's where, when they originally drafted TreVeyon Henderson, when we were doing our live draft show, I hesitated because I'm someone who, for better or for worse, does not like using that high of capital, whether it's draft picks or money on a running back, because they're so interchangeable, like you're going to see in this offense. But when a guy in TreVeyon Henderson is that lethal of a playmaker, he's worth the pick there. He's worth a guy who you can keep him, you can use him. He's going to be durable, and it's going to be super exciting to see. So
that's
great night from him over.
That's their fun, shiny toy, right? Like,
right.
Again, that's it. You use your first round pick a year ago on Drake May. Everyone wants to see Drake May. This year you use it on a tackle. And yes, there's eyes on Will Campbell and how he performs because it's super important. It's just not sexy. This is their shiny toy. And it's the thing that you think that they can kind of deploy almost right away. And again, I know it's preseason game number 1, but based on the split, the way that they were using them, I do believe, and again, I don't know if you guys have any indication this way from what you've seen in training camp and how it's running, that they are going to be used interchangeably. And certainly based on game script, I could see certain games where Henderson will outsnap Ramondre, if not out touch him, just based on the fact that they might, need to pass or whatever. But I think it's clear, and Mike Vrabel said it earlier, he is going to lean on his running backs here. And I think you could feel pretty good about Henderson having a sizable role.
I think Henderson is going to be the one. They're all going to do a little bit of everything, but Henderson is going to be the one who truly is a Swiss Army knife. Like, we know Ramondre has some pass catching ability. When he was with Josh, he actually got like a target downfield, I remember, against the Cowboys where he runs right up the seam. Antonio Gibson, we know, has the wide receiver background. So 100%, they are interchangeable. TreVeyon Henderson's different, though. And while we're on the backfield, I also want to give a shout out to Jack Westover, the tight end. Honestly, didn't impress me too much this summer, but he's taking over at fullback. Brock Lampy unfortunately landed on IR, the undrafted free agent, who I had a lot of hopes that he would be able to be that kind of tough-nosed James Devlin, Jakob Johnson-esque fullback. But Westover, after not really doing much last season, he was hurt. I think they were really just trying to bring up the speed. He had a few nice plays on that toss. They ran that toss to the left like a billion times. They had Westover as that fullback, and he helped carve open some lanes for them. So I wanted to give him some love too, because I think that might be the first time I've said Jack Westover's name on this podcast. But
they opened up the game in 13.
13 with him in the backfield.
Threw him in the backfield as a fullback and ran it down their throat. So yeah, I thought that was noteworthy with Westover. And then the other thing, just on the backfield, where they start in that 13 at some point in that first or second drive. They end up in 21 personnel, and it's Ramondre and it's TreVeyon Henderson in the backfield, sort of split back type situation where
pony.
Yeah, they ponied up, and I think that's going to be where they're going to have their bread and butter too, because that doesn't, with both of their abilities in the pass game, putting them in 21 doesn't mean that they're going to just run the football down your throat by any means. They're going to use that and get the ball in space and get them the ball in space, hand it off, what have you. It's going to be fun to see, and I think seeing him out there that early tells you, like we said, John, they're going to split this thing up. It's not going to be Ramondre. Yep. Ramondre, the last couple seasons, has sort of wore down the stretch because he had to be their bell cow. Now that they have somebody like Henderson who can really take the load off, I think you're going to see much more from Ramondre this season too.
A lot of people were gushing about Henderson after the game. Henderson, of course, also got to speak at the podium as well. Don't always let the rookies talk, so that was nice that they gave him a turn. And here's some of the guys, including Henderson, talking about his performance.
Read it out and hit the hole, and everybody else blocked and finished and did all those good things. So it's a step in the right direction, and anytime you can, we talk about how critical a phase of the game is going to be, and to come out here and be able to work on it.
Make it 100 yards on that kickoff return.
Yeah, I think it's different with the kickoff rule now. You think teams are going to want to tackle and not get 35-yard line, so it's going to be a chance for some returns. And man, it's like a lightning bolt. He was I saw the crease and knew he was gone. So pretty cool. The first time he touched football, it's a touchdown. And then credit guys that blocking up front. That's special teams, and to all three phases. I think special teams got to be big this year.
When did you realize you had it? You had that, and did you look up a couple times at the screen? It looked like you looked up to see if people were coming at you.
Yeah, I thought the kicker was gonna get me, so I had to make sure I hit the gas. But yeah, that's when I knew once I got past the kicker.
Andre and Antonio, and how do you see each other kind of complementing one another?
Yeah, I think we do a good job of just feeding off one another energy. I know in practice those guys motivate me. You don't always come out practice motivated, and but seeing other guys go and just competing with the other guys, it pushes me a lot. It helps me get going, and so and same with the game. I know it's just one game so far, but just seeing Ramondre start off, seeing Antonio get in there, just feeding off that energy. I think we all do a good job of doing so.